Hi everyone, and welcome back. In our past video, we spoke about the race to develop a coronavirus vaccine. And in today's video, we will dive into the global effort to develop treatments for coronavirus infections. There are many drugs that are currently being trialed to either prevent or treat COVID-19 infections. You may have heard of some of these drugs, either in the news or in scientific publications. Hydroxychloroquine has gained a lot of press and interest due to it being touted as a quote-unquote game changer by a certain world leader. The interesting thing about the majority of drugs being tested is that they were actually designed to combat other diseases, such as arthritis and cancer, or other viruses, such as HIV, Ebola, MERS, or SARS. There's also a massive effort being undertaken by researchers to develop new ones. However, these may take many years to develop and test. For this reason, health organizations have prioritized the use of existing drugs that have the highest likelihood of success. Rather than going into a deep dive in every single drug and what it does, for today's video, I will focus on one of the largest global trials occurring in the midst of this pandemic. Given the massive burden COVID-19 is putting on healthcare systems across the globe, the World Health Organization designed the Global Solidarity Trial, a massive undertaking to quickly determine which drugs are effective against coronavirus infections and which may actually do more harm than good. Solidarity is a coordinated effort to collect robust, high-quality data from multiple healthcare centers across the world, with more than 3,500 patients from 35 countries currently enrolled across the globe. Although there are many trials and efforts going on in specific nations, such as the Accord and Recovery trials in the United Kingdom, the Discovery trial in Europe, or Operation Warp Speed occurring in the United States, Solidarity is a truly multinational effort that will hopefully capture real-world data for multiple nations. It also overcomes the risk of multiple smaller trials not generating enough evidence to determine the relative effectiveness of potential treatments. The Solidarity trial is quite simple in design, and this straightforward design actually reduces the time taken by 80% compared to randomized clinical trials that may often take many years to conduct. At a participating medical center, an individual with symptoms is first diagnosed with COVID-19. The patient will then sign an informed consent form, acknowledging their participation in the trial. The physician will then enter the patient's data into the WHO website, including any underlying conditions such as heart disease, HIV infection, or diabetes. In parallel, the physician also indicates which drugs are available at their hospital. The WHO website then randomizes the patient to either a local standard of care group or to a group receiving standard of care plus one of the available drugs being tested for effectiveness against COVID-19. There are 4 drugs currently being tested for effectiveness against COVID-19 in the Solidarity trial. Remdesivir, which was originally designed to combat Ebola and related viruses. Remdesivir acts to shut down viral replication by inhibiting a key viral enzyme, the RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. The second drug in the trial is a combination of ritonavir and lopinavir. This drug combination is approved for treating HIV infections and acts to inhibit HIV proteases and actually block viral assembly. The third drug combination being tested is ritonavir with lopinavir in combination with interferon beta. Interferon beta should act to reduce inflammation caused by coronavirus infection. And the final drug being included is hydroxychloroquine, which may act to block viral entry into cells. From this point on, all the physician will have to do is record the duration of the patient's hospital stay, whether the patient left the hospital or passed away, and whether the patient required oxygen or ventilation. This allows hospitals that are overwhelmed with patients, have low funding, or have limited access to drugs to participate in the trial, as no additional intensive data recording or testing is required. Solidarity sets a bare minimum for measurements that are useful for public health, but other hospitals that have access to more funding and lower patient burden can also participate in the trial, as well as perform additional studies and measurements. Some of these measurements may include viral load, lung imaging, or measurement of blood gases and blood chemistry. The great thing about the design of a Solidarity trial is that it can change at any moment. If a drug is deemed to have no effect or be dangerous, it can be dropped. Or, if there is a new promising drug in the market, it can be added. A prime example of this adaptability centers around the controversial drug hydroxychloroquine, which was included in the trial primarily due to global interest in its utility, spurred by specific world leaders touting its benefits, despite little scientific evidence. Studies in the clinic have reported mixed results and have led to some health bodies actually issuing recommendations against its use. Other than the fact that it is largely unproven, hydroxychloroquine may also cause heart damage. And because people with heart disease are at higher risk for developing severe cases of COVID-19, this has actually developed into a major concern. The pushback against hydroxychloroquine came to a head with the publication of an article in the medical journal The Lancet on May 22, 2020. This study showed that hydroxychloroquine was associated with irregular heart rhythms and an increase in hospital mortality. This led to it rapidly being removed from the Solidarity trial on May 23, 2020, and multiple clinical trials on its effectiveness were paused. However, multiple concerns are raised about the paper and the company responsible for gathering some of the clinical data for the paper, Surgiscape, with the Lancet issuing an expression of concern regarding this paper on June 3, 2020. With this expression of concern, the WHO reviewed its initial decisions and own mortality data and decided to continue the hydroxychloroquine arm of the trial. This expression of concern was rapidly followed by a retraction notice by the Lancet on June 5, 2020, and as of the publication of this video, there has been no change to Solidarity. Herein lies the beauty of the Solidarity trial. It is designed to rapidly adjust and modify itself dependent on real-world results and results from other groups and studies. However, that is not to say that the Solidarity trial is perfect by any means. Although it has the ability to operate quickly at a large scale in the middle of a pandemic, in exchange for the speed at scale, there is a clear trade-off in scientific rigor. As a study is not double-blinded, which is the gold standard in medical research, this may lead to the placebo effect playing a major role in some outcomes being measured. Only time will tell if the results of the Solidarity trial have any impact on the management and treatment of COVID-19, or if the design of this trial is effective and stands up to scrutiny. However, as our world gets smaller and smaller, and the threat of future pandemics increases, Solidarity and trials like it may act as ideal test cases on how to operate robust global clinical trials in the midst of a worldwide catastrophe. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and let us know if you have any questions or comments about the Solidarity trial or COVID-19. We've attached some resources for you to get further information for your own reading. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy.